Hey, yo, what is up here on a Sunday afternoon? Uh, Nothing going on with me, man. I was just sitting here watching a little Band of Brothers on TV, and Wifey is working today, and NFL's about to start in 6 minutes, a few minutes before kickoff time, and I don't care. I'm doing this damn video, Ukraine 43, turn. It's actually still turn one, but it's going to be the German. It's going to be the German portion of turn one. And let me tell you, man, when I kicked out this initial video last night, I was damn tired, but I'm glad I did it. But consequently to that, we do need to fix a problem. All right. Two minor things, just take a minute. So let's get into it. So right now, I neglected to do a high casualty roll for attack B. And attack B would have been, it was this huge one right here. And these guys, this guy, this guy, this guy. So let's do a high casualty roll. I neglected to do. One moment. Here's the roll. 4, 5, or 6, and they lose a step. It's a 1, no effect. Now, over here, the other issue that I have, attack D is in dog. I put it down as a 6-1 attack, and it was not a 6-1 attack. So I'm going to keep the original roll, and run it at what it was, a 5-1 attack. So we had 4-1 on the ratio, the initial ratio, and we had I committed 2 artillery units, which made 6-1. However, I didn't factor in that the Germans were in the fortified zone. So that would be 5-1. So the roll went from, it was a, let's see what it was. Because I know initially I came up with DRM, which was a 3. Okay, and because at 6-1, but 5-1, the roll of 3 is an A1, D1. So I actually modified it. So with this result, there would have been no follow-up mobile assault, which failed. So I can't do a mobile assault. So the only difference here is that this initial advance with these guys does hold up. And the only change that I actually had to make was this unit did not lose a step, but A1, D1, it did lose a step. And the subsequent, and there was like a 226 that was sitting on the Russians, and they were killed off. And then the high casualty roll was negative. That was not. Well, the damn cops going crazy again on a Sunday at 1. All right, so the Germans actually lost a step. This guy retreated like he had to, and he lost a step as opposed to just doing a retreat. He had to lose a step and a retreat. So it actually was fortuitous for the Red Army. So here's the situation right here. Let's minimize this and go and look at the situation. So here we are, extra small units. Maybe I'll go up 1. And we'll look at the situation up north here. Nothing was done over here. We had the attack towards Sumy, which was successful. They rolled a 6 on a 3-1. That was good. So you have Germans lost a step and disruption down here. Attack B actually turns out it was just a retreat, disruption. And advances for the Russians. Attack C, there actually was not a retreat right here. Let me just go ahead and get this damn thing going again. Oh, what's that? Control-Alt-S. And right here, they just lost a step, but there was no retreat. And then over here with the big, bad 5th Tank Army, like we just talked about, initially it was a DRM when I calculated at 6-1, but in fact it was a 5-1 3. Rolled a 3, kept the original roll, and the Wehrmacht lost the guy right here, lost a step. They're under the 987, and these guys were able to move up 1. 5th Tank Army lost like a 226, and then attack E, which was over in this area. The huh. What was the result of attack E? Oh yeah. This unit right here lost a step and retreated 2 hexes, actually from here, and these guys advanced into here. All right, so that's where it stands. And down south here, what you saw was the Russians use all of their 4 replacements at the extreme southern part of this front right here just to build up 4 different units. So you can count on them attacking in turn 2. But they use all 4 replacements on 4 units down here. And you can see all the victory points areas over here. So they are... There's still other replacements to make here, but look for them to attack in turn 2. Now, we move on to the German portion, and let's check out the aircraft situation. The air assets. Russians used both of theirs in turn 1, their portion of turn 2, and the Germans withheld and kept their one aircraft unit. So that's where we stand as we go into German portion of turn 1. Let me just maximize this. I like it. I like it big. By the way, I looked at this on the phone after the fact. It looks great. It's like on my PC, I'm looking at huge, massive counters and hexes right now. Hex and counters, they look massive. But when this translates over to the phone where most people are going to watch this from, it actually looks really sweet. So that's what we're looking at right now. Let's go ahead and let me get the sequence of play out, and we'll get going with the Germans. So weather phase has already been done for the turn. Initial phase, reinforcements and replacements for the Germans. Okay, let's look at their reinforcement. They just get some little security thing right here. Their replacement is this 143. It goes to one. It goes to the north. Yeah, that's a reinforcement. Can we move this back? No, we can't move this back. I gotta do it old school. Where the hell did you go? So he's gonna come on, I guess, on the northern part of this. Let's put him on the northern. Do we have an entry zone? You know what? We're gonna do it right here. He's gonna come in there. See the 1N, turn 1 from on the northern portion of the map. That's the way I read that. And now replacements. Now this turn they get 1 special and 1 infantry. So let's go down south where I think they're going to find the only unit that's a special unit that needs a step. And that is correct right here. This 16th Panzer Grenadier or whatever the hell it is. This guy needs a step. And notice the little white dot right there. That makes him like an anti-tank unit, and this falls under a special unit, so he's going to take a step. Actually, he's going to pick up a reinforcement, gain a step. There it is, right there, and he needs to get the reinforcement replacement. Keep mixing up the terms, and we'll put this Panzer unit on top. Okay, and now we need, where's an infantry unit that needs to be upgraded? Let's look down here, but I think we're going to upgrade somebody up north. Yeah, these guys look good down here because they haven't been attacked yet. Moving right along here, there's a unit under here that I could upgrade, but I think the units that just got blasted up north have an immediate need. And that is, I think, like 3 infantry divisions took hits here. Now, I don't know if you can do it while they're disrupted. That's actually a damn good thing to look up right now. All right, so I should know the answer to this, but I seem to have not. I don't know it, so we're going to have to look for it. Can a disrupted unit take a take a replacement? I would say no, but we're about to find out. Disruption. Let's go to disruption. We may get our answer quicker if I do that, but course, you can never find shit when you're looking for it. So I need to go to the index. Let's go to the index. Might save some time. Disruption. You got to have disruption. Yeah, 13.0. And here we are, 13.0. Replacements. Disrupted units cannot take reinforcements. Good to know. That's what I would have guessed, but we're not in the habit of guessing here, if possible. So let's get back to the other screen. So we need to fortify an infantry unit that does not have is not disrupted. And I'll tell you right now, it's got to be this guy right here. Okay, he's not disrupted, but he did take a hit. He lost the step, but he did not have to retreat. So he is going to status, gain a step, and take the reinforcement hit, which is not a big replacement hit. All right, there you go. So the replacements have been doled out, and let's keep going here. The initial phase, blah 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 blah. Movement phase. Movement phase. Let's start off at the top, the northern part for the Germans. All right, so everybody gets movement, and I'm gonna go ahead and hit the. Let's hit the marked movement for everybody right here. Let's go ahead and do that. Marked movement. Did we hit everything? Is everybody? Okay, I don't see any movement tabs on these guys. All right, let's do this. So the Germans are gonna move. Here we go. We're going to start off with at the northern shoulder right here. This guy's going to go Zoc to Zoc right here. Watch him as they shift downwards. He's going to go Zoc to Zoc right there. And this guy right here, he wants to stay in his fortified zone. Now, this disrupted unit has an obligation to move away from the enemy, which he will do. So he's going to go... Where is he going to go? Well, he's going to go right here. So he moved away from the enemy. This 574 right here is we need to get some units over here. He's going to move into Sumy, which doubles him, I believe. He moves into Sumy, but we have a shortage of units. There's something I want to do before I move on, and what I'm going to do is I'm committed to moving forces northward. I'm actually going to minimize one and see. This is Panzer Grenadier Viking SS, I believe. Not sure about that, but we're going to give him extended because he's going to move northward. In this game, the Germans will be sending powerful units northward to deal with this. Now, what I want to do is try to get an extended march out of him, and I want to look at the rules on this. Extended march. Extended march. All right, so again, we go back to the extended movement 5.3. Okay, 5.3. What I really should do when I do these videos is have the index printed out on a sheet of paper right next to me. That'll save me a little bit of time. Units may use extended movement to increase their MA by 3 movement points. Units that use may not move adjacent to the enemy. A unit is allowed to start adjacent to the enemy. Okay, as long as you don't get back to the enemy after that. Units. Okay. If your MA, your movement allowance is in a black box, you may not use it. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to declare that Viking is extended march, or extended movement, whatever they call it. He's going to get a +3 to his 7, which gives him 10 movement points. And then we're going to look at the terrain map. And so he's definitely mechanized, and he's going to stay on roads, which is going to be a half. What is reduced to 1 movement point during rain turn. So he's going to be a half. So basically, as long as he stays on the road, he can move 20 hexes. Now I'm going to minimize this again for the purposes of his movement. All right, let me just write down. He's starting at 4419. Okay, let's move him north. You see where he is right now. Viking is down here. And he wants to move up towards the Sumi area. And he's got 20 hexes as long as he stays on a road. Half, 1, half, 2, half, 3, half, 4, half, 5, half, 6, half, 7, half, 8, half, 9, half, 10. Look at that. He's already filled the void where the Germans needed the void to be filled. And let's get back up here and bring this up. Regular size. So you see how Viking did their movement, and they use an extended movement, extended march, whatever. They were able to fill in this void, fill the gap, and bring some much needed punch to the Germans up here. All right, so after that, I'm now going to go ahead and resume my movement heading right and moving east and south with this 987. But before I do that, I'm going to move this guy who's obligated to move away from the enemy. He can do tactical movement, which is up to 2 hexes away. What would I do with this guy? Shit. Did he lose a step? He did not lose a step. He cannot be in the zone of an enemy. I'd like to move him here, but that's not going to happen because he'd still be... So, with that being the case, I think I might I want to go either here or here. I'm going to go here because if I stay in the woods, they can't use an armored shift on me. All right, so I was, like I said, I was obligated to move away. Now I'm starting with these 2 Panzer divisions up next. I'm starting to think, how in the hell can I hit the Russians, hit them back hard? I want to hit them hard. And what's the best way to do that? What's the best way to do that? And let me say this, like when you're the Germans, what you're looking for, what I find myself looking for when I'm the Germans on the attack in this game, I am looking for Russian armor that's in the clear. All right, and we have found somebody that matches that criteria right here. These guys are in the clear. They're not in the woods. They're not on a fortification. They are in the clear, and that is the case. So they're ripe for counterattack. The problem is, am I going to use this guy up here? He would have to get across this 353, but I think it might be wise if I leave him there for now. So I think this is going to be my main counterattacking force, even though I have to keep an eye on 1st Tank Army, 5th Tank Army. All right, so I'm electing to go after these characters right here. What's the best way to do that? Well, this guy's going to go here. Oh, by the way, when you move away from the enemy and you're not using tactical movement, it adds 2 points. So that move right there is 2.5. That move right there is 3. And the reason I did that is because when I had him here, if I attack him and all units are across the water, that's going to be bad. So we need to get at least 1 unit that is not attacking him from across the water. Otherwise, they get, I don't know, doubled or whatever. There's some benefit for the Russians, and we're not even going to bother to find out because we're going to fix that problem right now. 2.5, 3 to right there. So now it's not a situation where if all attacking units are across the water, that blah, 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 blah. No, that's not the situation now. We're going to bring this guy over. 1.5. And also, we're going to bring this guy, the heavy battalion, That is to say, Tiger tanks, up from Kharkov, and we're going to throw him into it. Half, one, half, two. Now, what is the value of that Tiger tank's yellow? You see where the 3 is in yellow? What that means, if they encounter any enemy armor, they get an armor shift. Okay, because you got Tigers against what, T-34s, maybe T-34-85s at this point. And so the Tigers are going to claim an armor shift out of anybody. So that's what the yellow stands for. And then when you look at these other 2 German units over here to the left, the 19th Panzer and 5 Viking, with the red, their defense strength in red, that means they're quality units, and they're going to get a TQ over the Soviets. So that's a shift. And then you have one unit that's not on the board yet. Grossdeutschland has the yellow and the red, the best piece on the board. They're not here yet. They come on, I think, in turn 3, but that unit is devastating. But anyway, so these guys are going to be part of the attack on these Russians right here. And I want to see if I can bring more shit to bear here, because their defense is a 9. And right now I have 18 plus 3 is 18 plus 3 is 21 to 9, which is 2 to 1. Then we'd get a TQ, make it 3 to 1, and the armor shift would make it 4 to 1. Damn, I'd love to get that to 5 to 1, but do I have the assets to do it? I really don't, man. I really don't have the assets to take that to friggin' 5 to 1. I'd like to. And that, I mean, could I bring this guy over? Technically I could, but I really need him to fill that void right there. I could bring him out. He could go 3, 4, 5. I don't even know. That'd be a stretch to get him over there. To get him right there. I could do it. That'd be 3, 4, 5, 6. I could get him over to I could get him to bundle up with him, the 19th. But I don't want to leave that gap in the line right there. I really don't want to do that. So I think we're going to make this a 4 to 1 attack. We'll come back and put all the shit back on this in a minute. Actually, I'm going to do it right now. Why not? Why not? Why not? Let's go ahead and make this attack A. Attack A is going to be him. Attack A is going to be here. Attack A is going to be here. And like I said, they're a 9. And I am a 21. It's 2 to 1. Total quality and armor shift is going to make it a 4 to 1. And that's the way it stands right now. I may change my mind. But the first thing I'm going to look at right now is if I roll horribly, can I do a Manstein reroll? And is he 7 hexes from Kharkov? 2, 4, 5. Absolutely. So if I had to do a Manstein reroll. And the other thing to consider is, do I want to commit my only air asset to make this a 5 to 1 attack? I'm kind of doubting it right now, but let's move forward with the movement and see where we want to place that air asset. We still have that in our back pocket. All right, one moment. Let's go ahead and check this out. So moving to the right, we've got 2 disrupted 254s right here. That doesn't bode well. And massive 5th tank army is looking to encircle this city right here. And what do you do, man? How are you going to stem the tide against this? Well, obviously, the 6th Panzer has to come north. And I mean, you start thinking about, do you want to give up that city? Can you hold it? You've got 4 units on 4 sides. You're almost surrounded. Do you want to fight for it? Because that 574 is doubled in that city on a fortification. They're going to be a tough nut to crack. If I can get some support in 4309, can I possibly launch an attack against 5th Tank Army? That it doesn't look well. And by the way, if you're thinking about it, if the Soviet units are in a German fortified area, that doesn't mean shit for them. They don't derive any benefit for being there. Okay, now what to do here? what to do here. What am I going to do about, what's this, Belograd? I don't even know how to say it, but what do I do? Do I pull those guys out of there? Do I try to hold on it? Eventually, you got to think that the Russians have enough to take it. And especially with these guys sitting, having lost a step and disrupted, I mean, what they can't get into this fight, because as long as they're disrupted, they can't be adjacent to the enemy. So my only card that I can play is move 6 Panzer up there to go on the defensive. And that's probably what I'm going to do. And the question is, where are you going to put 6 Panzer? Well, you really want to take advantage of the fortified zone, which is Hex 4209. You really want to do that, and that's what I think I'm going to do. So this guy's going to go half, actually, 1.5, 2.5, 3.5. So they're probably going to be outgunned themselves by 5th Tank Army, but they're not surrounded or anything. Actually, you know what? I'm going to leave them there, but I neglected to even look at this replacement right here. I just replaced him. He's got to get out of there. He's surrounded on 4 sides, and he can move 1 hex. Does he want? Am I going to move him out of the fortified zone? I think it'd be wise. You got to get him out of here, dude. You got to get him out of here. What do we have? What's under this 226? Wow, that's only an 8. I would. Do you want to? What again? He's a 5. Do you want to move him out of the fortified zone? Back 1. I would say. Yes, let's do it. Let's move him 1 hex max movement. But also, the thing that you want to do with him is you want, because he's in clear now, and he's infantry, so it is wise. Do you have any anti-tank assets that can preclude the Soviets from getting an armored ship? And yeah, we do. We got 1 left. Right under Manstein, we got an anti-tank unit. We're going to get him up there. Half, 1, 1.5, 2.5. There you go. So now you're not an infantry unit sitting in a clear hex, susceptible to getting a friggin' huge armored attack on you. You do have anti-tank. Pretty well played by the Germans right now. So they're going to try to hold Volgograd. They're going to make the Russians pay a penalty because they are doubled and they're in a fortified zone there. This guy's going to hold right here as we move down. There's Manstein. This guy holds here. This guy's going to back up 1 hex, still in a fortified hex. So he backs up 1. This guy stays. He stays. He stays. And we pull this down, and this is where shit gets interesting. We might do an attack here, because as I was saying in the previous video, the last night's video when I was friggin' tired, Izzy and Ben, this hex has water on 4 of 6 sides. Now, it's between the 353 and the 2 German units here. That hex side does not have water. So it's not a water barrier, and I'm thinking about attacking that 353 right there. I'm thinking about, because that is a valuable hex to have. I'm thinking about launching an all-infantry attack on that, which would be, it would be 12 to 5, 2 to 1. You're looking at 2 to 1. Shit. Is that my only attack? Is that that's my second attack. Can I move can I move an asset an armored asset into here? The problem with that is, yeah, you could do it because the Soviets they're on woods. You wouldn't get an armored shift, but you could possibly make it. Well, they're a 5, right? They're a 5, 12. So you're looking at 12. You could get it 21 to 5 would be 4 to 1. Do I want to move this 987 over there? 987. Do I want to but that is valuable real estate right there. I think he's a 5. This is going to get gamey here. 12 to 5's 2 to 1. What if I move this 6 on over? That'd be 18 to 5 v 3. We're going to move this character right here. He's a one step down Panzer Division. 17th Panzer, which is down a step. We're going to move him over. What the hell? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, actually you went 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5, 3 to right there. So let's go ahead and set this attack up. This is only my second attack. But that is some valuable real estate right there. Letters B, B attack right here. You can't get an armored shift. Oh, but you do get a quality shift. Look at that shit. He's a 5 in red. Okay, so that attack is as it stands right here. Again, it's 18 to 5, 3 to 1. Also with quality, that's going to be a 4 to 1. Now you're cooking with gas right now. All right, let's keep going. And I got to remember something right now. I got to remember something. When you look at this, is very important for the Germans. Movement phase. You can build fortifications now. Due to the nature of the conflict here, the Germans would be much more apt to build fortifications, which before I go any farther, I'm going to do that shit right now. They're going to build a fortification. I'm going to place it down here. Let's get and you only have a certain amount. All right. And you got to build phase to build a fort. You don't just get a ready-made fort. You got to build the damn thing. And I'm going to put it somewhere in this area down here. So let me move. We're this 987. Let me continue on with my movement right here. Now, we'd love to liquidate the Soviets and get them out of here. They have a beachhead across this river right here. I'd like to get them out of here. Do I want to attack with the Panzer on here and this division right here? That'd be 14 to 10. I don't want to do it because you know what? I'm going to end up rolling a 1-1 and then I'd get spanked. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. Don't want to do it. Not right now. But I do want to place this fort before I go any farther, because you can see all these victory points down here. I got to place this fort right now, and I'm going to throw this bad boy right. Let's throw right here. It's under construction. There you go. This guy's good. He's good. He's good. He's good. Let's keep going. Maybe only 2 attacks for the Germans. This guy's in a fortified zone. He's on a fortified zone. He's in a fortified zone. So these guys that are on the line here, they're going to stay. We will pull this 28254 off, though. We will pull him off. Keep him in my... But, hey, we got to do something with Das Reich and Totenkopf. Let's take them up to the front. Das Reich and Totenkopf. Absolutely. I think Das Reich, for the purposes of this, I want to move one of them up. I want to move one of them. Maybe they can cause me to want to do an attack up there. Let's do this. They've got a 7, half, 1, half, 2, half, 3, half, 4. All of a sudden, now you have an attack on these guys right here. Let's go ahead and do it. That's going to be attack C. Attack C. So you're looking at right now, you're looking at the defender has 10, 9, 8 is 17, and 5 is 22. 22 to 10 is 2 to 1. Plus quality, that would make it 3 to 1. Now we're talking. All right, let's make this attack C. Letters. Excellent. Das Reich is going to make this friggin' 3 to 1. Excellent. All right, so we're back down here. What do we do with Totenkopf? They're going to, for the purposes of this, they're going to go hang out in this town over here. 1, 2, 2.5 right here. And then this unit, oh shit, we still have these guys. We have this Panzer Division, which is going to, I think he's going to stay where he is. And this one that we just used a reinforcement on, I think I think actually the one we just he's going to move one. He gets to move one hex. He's going to go here, and this Panzer division can move possibly north. I'm going to put him on Gorlovka. Half, one, half, two, half. He'll hang out right there. Or actually, I'm going to leave him back right here because Totenkopf's got that. So those guys are backing up the initial line right here. And also this 254, he's going to separate just so I can see him. Just so I don't make the mistake of not seeing him. So let's take a look around the whole front. We'll minimize and go north. Oh, actually, I got to move in my reinforcement. And these Hungarians and these guys, can't forget about them. They have a role to play. So let's move this Hungarian unit down. Let's just one hex. What is it? One hex on roads, even for it's one hex for infantry. So he's gonna just go 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, and then he'll just go right here 3. And then the security unit. Let's move him. Let's just move him down 1. Well, actually 1, 2, 3. We'll move him to right there. Okay, those guys have a role to play. All right, so let's look at everything from the top. I will go down in resolution 1. From the top, the Germans moved down 1. The disruption, he had to move away from the 896 unit. He moved 1 hex. The 574 moved into Sumy. And then we transported Viking north from the south. We actually used extended movement and got him to move 20 hexes on the road. And there was a void right here, and he filled it. 987, 11th. Isn't that like the Ghost Division? The Ghost Panzer Division, the 11th. I gotta check that out later. But we're gonna call him the Ghost Division. Screw it. This guy moved back away from the enemy, and these guys set up a attack right here. They brought in the Tiger Battalion, or regiment, whatever, probably battalion. So we're gonna have a 4-to-1 attack on those Soviets, and we will re-roll that shit if I don't get a good number. We will. Manstein is primed to re-roll that. And then over here, you got the 2 disrupted right here. We moved this guy back 1 hex, and we did, since he's in the clear, we did give him an anti-tank component. This guy moved up from the south, from just east of Kharkov. He moved up to stand, to a ballsy move to stand, fill that fortified zone right next to 5th Tank Army. Pretty ballsy. And the Germans elected to hold out in Belgorod 1 more turn. And I guess what they're waiting for is for these disruptions to come off of these 2 units right here and maybe get a replacement into one of them. And venturing south from there, not much going on. So basically, what do we got? We got attack B is down here. We're going to try to get this guy out of the Izium Bend. And then C, we move Das Reich up to attack. These 2 hexes are valuable because they got a beachhead on the other side of the river. And then we established a fort right here, brought some assets up to back things up. We got a replacement. These 2 armored units are ready to respond to any breakthroughs. And that's about it. That is about it. Let's go back up north where the action is. Actually, there's more action down south this turn. Oh, what did you not do, John? You didn't apply your 1 air asset that the Germans saved. The Germans saved. They didn't use it. They wisely held on to it. So having set those attacks up, let's move over to the left a little more. I think I'm going to use it for this big attack right here and make this a 5-to-1. That's what I think I'm going to do. I'm going to make this shit a 5-to-1. Delete, and then let me throw a 5-to-1. Last night I was tired and I screwed up 1 attack. We're going to go back over all the odds here. All right, let's go to the damn sequence of play. See what comes next. Nobody's watching. I did have 4 people in here. I don't know why they wouldn't watch. I guess they want to watch it after the fact. No, you know what happened? Actually, football games have started. I get that. I get that. All right, so sequence of play is combat phase. Yeah, dude, combat phase. Let's get it on. So we're 40 minutes into it. We only got 3 or 4 attacks. Okay, so this is the big. They're using their air asset right here. And let's go over this. I want to make sure it is indeed a 5-to-1. So what you have 9 and 9 is 18 plus 3 is 21. Then the defender's a 9. 2-to-1. You have a red for TQ. You have a yellow for armor, 4-to-1, and you have air for 5-to-1. Let's go ahead and roll that shit. And remember, we got Manstein sitting in our back pocket if we got to do a reroll. So that the attacker wants the biggest number possible. Here's your roll at 5-to-1. They get a 2. Cue up Manstein, bro. He's gonna do the reroll. We're not gonna have it. But what would be 5-to-1? What would be a 2? But we're not keeping it. It would be a DR defender retreat. We got to get something better than that. We got to get something better than that. So now, in case anybody doesn't know, if I choose to use the Manstein reroll, I am obligated to keep that result. All right. So here goes the Manstein reroll. It was a 2. I feel we can do better. I'm obligated to keep this result no matter what it is. Here's the reroll. It's a 5. That's why we have them. That's why we do this. So it's a 5 on 5-to-1, and that is massive because now you're looking at a D1 asterisk. Let's go ahead and put that down. D1 asterisk, and that's a hell of a lot better than a DR, I'll tell you. D1 asterisks. Wait a minute. All right. Let's figure out what that is. D1, I'm going to get rid of the plane. I'm going to put it back, send to used box. All right, so the D1 asterisk, let's read it. Where is D1 asterisk? D1. Okay, well, defender loses a step. Surviving defenders must either retreat or become disrupted or contact. So the attacker gets a bonus advance. That's huge because that's going to be a mobile assault. Surviving defenders must... Okay, the defender loses 1 step. So he gets to choose his own step that he's going to lose. And that's going to kill this guy. He's going to go to eliminated. All right, he goes to eliminated, and now surviving defenders must either retreat and become disrupted. Okay, but he's an asterisk. Result in the same is the same, except the defender may only do desperation defense. All right, so this guy's just going to retreat. He's going to retreat 2 hexes. 1, 2. And he's going to get become disrupted. Yeah, he's going to get a disruption. So he's disrupted. Now they get a bonus advance. And I think that may be 3. Then if that's the case, so mechanized on a bonus is 3 hexes. So what you're gonna have right here is oh, this is massive. These guys are gonna form up and they're probably going to do an assault. Do I really want to do that? Yeah, let's do that. They're going to do a mobile assault. So they have 3, keep in mind, they got 3 hexes. So these guys are going to go here. These guys are going to go here. And these guys are going to go here. Now they've all used 1 of their 3 hexes. And now they're going to mobile assault these 2 characters right here. All right, and that's going to use the second of their 3 hexes, and so that the defender is an 8. Now, because they're on woods, you don't get any armored shift. You don't get an armored shift, and I don't think you get the advantage of the the Tiger tank, but you do get the advantage of quality. So they are, again, they're an 8, and you're a 20. You're an 18 and 321, so that's 2 to 1, and you get 1 for quality, which 2 of the units are in red. So now keep in mind they have 1 more hex left, or 1 more mobile assault. So you're looking at a 3 to 1 mobile assault here. Again, 21 to 8. That's 2 to 1, and you get quality. 3 to 1. 3 to 1 mobile assault. Let's do this. 3 to 1. Here it is. They roll a 3 on a 3 to 1. Oh, shit. That may not be good. 3 on 3 to 1. That's a DR, so the Germans aren't going to lose anything. That's a DR. Do those... Okay, so these guys are going to retreat. What are we talking about here? Do they want to do a determined defense? Do they want to do a determined defense? I think they're going to do a determined defense. It's 3 to 1 DR. Let's see if they can, if they do a determined defense. The Russians are going to do a determined defense. Are they in clear? No. Any kind of city? No. So they're obviously in other. Okay, here goes the Russian determined defense. All right, here, let's roll a Russian determined defense. Here's the roll. It's a 2. No, they have to retreat. All right. Okay, so where can they go to? That's a problem, because they're going to have a stacking issue. They're going to have a stacking issue. So the question is, what happens if your retreat takes you into a stacking problem? Well, this guy has no problem if he goes to first tank, which is exactly where he's going to go. 1, 2, and he definitely can stack here. He's going to be disrupted, and let's put him on the bottom. Okay, he's disrupted, but there is room for him. And the question is, where does this 51-52 unit go if he... Because there's no place for him to go. Or actually, there is a place for him to go. He can go right here where this 866 is. He's the only unit in here. All right. I stand corrected. I stand corrected. So give this dude, he's disrupted as well. And wow, 1, 2. Damn, man. Wow. So the Germans just throw it down right here with the Manstein reroll being the key to it all. And what are they going to do? So what do these guys want to do? They have 1 hex to move. I see where they're going to move to. Well, they have 1 hex to move. One of these guys is going to go into that fortified zone. And these dudes are going to stay right here. Beautiful work by the Germans, dude. Beautiful work. Beautiful work. Beautiful work by them. Alright, so we're going to move on to attack B. B as in boy. And that's down here. And these guys are attacking a... Wasn't there 2 units here? No, it's 5. So this is 12. And then 18 is 3 to 1. And quality makes it 4 to 1. Indeed, let's roll this. 4 to 1 attack. It's only a 1 on 4 to 1, which is DRX. That's not good. That's going to be good for the Russians, the Red Army. Each side loses 1 step, which is determined by the opposing player. Well, 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 well. So obviously the Russians lose 1 step. They ain't no big deal, because like I told you guys, like I said, Russians having to lose steps, they don't even sweat that. Now the Germans are going to lose a step, which is determined by the opposing player. And it's going to be this character right here. He's already down a step. What happens if he loses a step? I think he has to go, oh, he goes right there. He goes to that. Notice how he's not a quality unit anymore. Okay, wow, that's something else. Okay, now what else does it say? It says, and that was 1 on 4 to 1 DRX. What else does it say? The defender must either retreat or become disrupted, or, oh, so they're going to get him out of here. Well, that's all they really wanted, was to get him out of there. Is he going to retreat? Ugh. Yeah, he's going to retreat because he's going to be dead. Yeah, he's going to be dead. He's going to retreat too. He goes here, and he's going to go to disrupted, full disruption, full disrupted. All right, and what does that mean? So DRX also means if the defender retreats, the attacker may advance after combat at the normal rate. You know what? I'm going to change this disruption. He's going to try to do a determined defense, and if he dies, he dies. So he is on other. The Russian is on other. Let's go ahead and roll determined defense. He might die. Here it is. It's a 4. No, he has to retreat. He has to retreat. All right, so let's put him back where he was. Disrupted. Okay, so the Germans get to advance. And what will they advance? I would advance him. You have to just advance him. That gives us some presence there. You can't move that 574 out of there. You really can't do it. Or, how about this? How about this? How about you move the 574 there, and then this guy gets to move here. It's an advance. That remnant gets to advance to right there. Okay, I actually like that better. All right, moving down to attack C. This is the last attack for the Germans right here. So what do we have going on right here? We've got a 9. Notice how one of the units is across the river, but that don't even matter. So the defender is a 10, and we've got 9, 5, and 8. It's 22 to 10, which is 2 to 1. Can't use an armored shift, but you can use quality. It is 3 to 1. Here's your 3 to 1 roll. It's a 4 on 3 to 1, which is a DR. And they are obviously going to do a determined defense on a defender retreat. They're going to do, here comes their determined defense. They roll a 6, and what's going to happen is it's the retreat is canceled, and both parties lose a step. And the Russians love that. They don't mind trading steps with them. Lose step. And now the Germans have to lose a step, and it's got to be the infantry lose a step, and the retreat is canceled. Great determined defense by the Russians. Very nice determined defense. So that is going to do it for all the attacks here. All right, great. Let's see what comes up next. So we have the, let's just see if we got anybody watching, any comments. Got 2 people watching, no comments. That's cool. We're going to wrap this up right here as we move into the recovery phase. We're going to move all disrupted markers and replacement. Okay, the Germans start top left, and okay, all like again, like I said, all replacement and disruptions. All right, here's a disruption. That's going away. Delete. And we move down here. We got one over here. That's going away. Delete. And I'll take these these odds markers off in a minute. You got two disruptions here that are going away, and you got a replacement right here that's going away. So those three get zapped. And the the Red Army's disruptions stay on. All right, more disruptions down here. I don't think so. The only ones are the Russians, and that's going to do it. But we do have a replacement marker that needs to come off. Delete. So that's their two replacements. I think that is it for disruptions and replacements. All right, let me go ahead and take these markers off for the beautiful determined defense by the Russians down here. Excellent, well played by them. Delete that. The Germans take the Izium Bend, primetime real estate. They needed to have it, they got it. And up here you have a beautiful Manstein reroll that just allows this German armored formation to just rip into the Russians with a mobile assault. Excellent, excellent, excellent. So they stabilize that part of the front. Delete, and then let's just do a quick check for German supply. Coming down here. Good, good. Everybody's in supply here. Good, nice. This guy in Volgograd, he's close, but he's still good. German supply, nice, nice. Yeah, okay. So let's see if I'm missing anything for the German turn. German player turn, supply, good. German player turn. Note that it does not have any artillery. Victory determination. We have no victory. So let's just go through it right here and let's sum up turn one, and let's see what we have here. So turn one, nothing happens north of Sumy. Right around Sumy, the Russians move on Sumy. The Germans move a unit back in there. Notice Viking came up from the south, and he filled the void really nicely right here using extended march / extended movement. The Russians made a big move down to 3909, and then the Germans just piled their armored assets in there and used a beautiful mobile assault and kicked the shit out of them, and they had to move back. And then you see over here, you see 1st tank, 5th tank, totally intact, ready to do some damage in turn two. You see these two guys right here, they lost steps. Germans still hold Volgograd, and there was a sweet ass Manstein reroll on that armored attack that they did. That was pretty sweet. And this is, yeah, they took the bend back, and the Russians use a really nice friggin' determined defense to keep these two guys on that side of the river. And then down here, nothing going on. Germans are throwing they're going to start throwing forts up down here, and you see Totenkopf just sitting here ready to back up any incursions that the Russians make. I mean, this is where the all the victory points are down here. See all those little towns with reds, 1s and 2s? It's like 6 points. That's it, man. That's it. Russians make a big move north of Kharkov. Germans smack them down with a nice armored mobile assault, and that's where it stands right now. All right, I'm out of here. Probably won't do anything to next weekend. Look for turn if you like watching this, look for turn 2 sometime next weekend. I'm John. I'm gonna go watch some football. We will see you guys next week. All right. Ciao. Bye bye.